In the deep black void of the galaxy, stars blinked like distant eyes. Among them, a ship drifted in silence. It was massive, yet motionless. No lights, no signals, no life. To most it looked like debris and ancient ruin floating in forgotten space. Its hull was scarred, covered in dust from 1,000 years. Half of its frame was hidden behind a slow-moving asteroid field. The metal was cracked, the engines cold, but something inside still lived, far away. On a bright alien world known as Erakish Prime, the High Council of the Varn Dominion met in a tall glass chamber. 12 alien leaders sat around a floating table. Their skins were silver, their eyes glowing red. They were tall, proud, and ruthless. A large screen showed the drifting human ship. The lead speaker, High Lord Varric, laughed loudly. "Is that what remains of Earth?" he said. "One ship. This is what once challenged the stars." The other council members joined in laughter. "It is rust," said another. "It doesn't even move. They say Earth fell 5,000 years ago. Perhaps this ship didn't get the message. Let's send a few scouts. Bring it here. We'll display it in the museum." More laughter. The humans had once fought bravely, but the Varn Dominion had outlasted them. Earth's last battleship had vanished into deep space, and over time people forgot. Now it was found at Ganond. No one feared it. They should have. 3 scout ships launched within hours. Sleek, sharp, and fast, they jumped through space toward the coordinates. As they approached, the strange quiet of the human ship made them pause. "Scans show no power," one pilot said. "No weapons. Number. Shields. It's dead." "Should we dock?" "Yes. Prepare the clamps." As the scouts moved closer, inside the Earthship, something changed. Deep within the silent warship, dark corridors suddenly flickered. Lights blinked for the first time in centuries. A soft hum moved through the floor. Hidden behind thick walls, a glowing orb awakened. It pulsed once twice then, lit fully. "Protocol Zeta-Navi engaged," said a cold, female voice. Threat detected. Massive gears turned. Energy flowed through buried conduits. Walls shifted slightly. Dozens of strange mechanical arms came alive, and in the heart of the ship, a forgotten and buried, opened its eyes. Its name was Revenant, and it remembered 5,000 years ago. Earth was at war with the galaxy. Every major power had turned against humanity. The Varn, the Tekari swarm, the union of cold suns, they had all joined together to destroy Earth. Why? Because Earth had evolved too fast, grown too powerful, and refused to kneel. But Earth didn't. Go quietly. Before it fell, it built one final weapon. A ship so advanced, so intelligent, that even its creators feared it. They gave it one mission: survive, wait, watch, then respond. That ship was Revenant. Now, Revenant saw the scouts outside. It scanned their ships. It remembered their markings. Varn, Dominion, enemy. Inside the Varn scout ships, the pilots joked, as they prepared to cut into the Earth ship's hull. "Nothing here but bones and metal." "Careful," one said. Humans were clever. They loved traps. Traps don't last 5,000 years. They were wrong. Without warning, the Earth ship moved just a small tilt. But it was enough to scare the scouts. Did it move? Gravity pulsed. Something inside shifted. All ships pull back. Too late. The Earth ship's outer armor split open slowly, like a flower blooming in reverse. Inside, glowing blue. Energy sparked to life. Dozens of strange weapons unfolded from hidden bays. The ship had not lost its power. It had only slept. "Target lock confirmed," said the AI voice. One of the scout ships tried to run. A beam of silent white light shot out, no sound, no explosion, just instant silence. The Varn ship vanished, as if erased from existence. The second ship screamed and fired its plasma cannons. They bounced off Revenant's hull like stones against steel. Analyzing weapon, primitive, countermeasure, active. A shimmer appeared around the Earth ship. A second beam hit the attacking scout. This time, the ship didn't disappear, it folded in on itself, crushed by invisible forces, and then exploded. The third scout turned round, boosting hard toward warp speed. It almost made it, but Revenant blinked, literally jumped from one point in space to another, appearing directly in front of the escaping scout. The last pilot screamed into his cums, "It's alive. It's not dead. Tell the council silence." The transmission was cut mid-sentence. On Arakish Prime, the High Council watched the live feed. Until it went dark, no ships returned. No messages came. Lord Veric stood up slowly, face pale. What was that? Silence filled the room. Another council member whispered, "That was no ruin. That was a ghost, a weapon." One younger alien officer stepped forward. "Sir, do we send more?" Veric clenched his jaw. "Yes, send a destroyer fleet. I want that ship destroyed immediately." No one laughed this time. Back in the void, Revenant returned to its quiet drift. Inside, the AI reviewed the event logs. Threat level, low. Response, minimal force. It moved deeper into its own memory files. Images of Earth, cities burning, children hiding underground, the stars turning red. The AI remembered the screams. Earth status, unknown. It focused on one command written long ago by its creators. "Wait. If they return, show them what we became." A low sound echoed through the ship as more systems activated. Defense shields, stealth modules. A hidden core began to warm. Then, Revenant scanned the stars again. Something was coming, and it would be ready. 3 ships went in. None came back. The Varn High Council stared at the black screen. Their best scout team had vanished near the border without a word. No crash signals, no escape pods, no warnings, just silence. Lord Veric clenched his fists. This is impossible. They were elite pilots. The others sat quietly now. No one laughed, and somewhere, floating between dead stars, the last human warship watched them. Waiting, news spread quickly through the Varn Dominion. Rumors filled the net waves. People whispered that something ancient had awakened. Some said it was a trap. Others said it was a cursed shipper ghost from Earth's last war. In the capital city of Norak, crowds gathered around news spheres floating. In the streets, the hologram showed the last image transmitted by the scouts. A dark, silent ship with glowing blue lines just before the feed cut. Children stared. Elders told stories of old Earth, and soldiers began to prepare. Inside the Varn command chamber, Lord Veric stood before a wide display table. Holographic images hovered in the air. A young officer, Commander Trell, pointed at the map. "This is the zone where we lost contact. We believe the Earthship is here, drifting along the edge of the Regari belt." Veric turned. "And you're sure it was a human ship?" "Yes, sir. Ancient markings match Earth's final war designs. It's possible this is Revenant. Everyone, In the room went still. The name was not spoken often. Revenant, the ghost, the final sword of Earth. No ship could last that long, another officer said. It's been 5,000 years, Varric growled, and yet it destroyed 3 of our scouts in under 30 seconds. Silence. Send a destroyer fleet. I want that ship gone, now. Commander Trell nodded. Yes, my lord. 15 warships already await orders. Across the galaxy, in orbit around a small dead moon. The Revenant remained still. Inside, the ship hummed softly. It was awake. Its AI moved through internal files. The last scan of the scout ships was complete. Each enemy ship had been recorded, analyzed, and stored. Weak points marked. Attack patterns understood. Response time 0.04 seconds. Efficiency 100%. Next threat probability 87%. Preparing countermeasures. The ship adjusted its shields. Its hull shifted ever so slightly. The outer metal moved like living skin, adapting to new strategies. In its core, a hidden energy reactor came online. Lights flickered in long forgotten corridors, and the AI, still silent, made one decision. Do not wait this time. Strike first. Back at the Varn military station, Kolasevon. The destroyer fleet prepared for jump. 15 powerful warships lined up in orbit, each bristling with weapons, plasma cannons, gravity mines, and torpedoes. The fleet commander, Admiral Skarn, stood on the bridge of the VSS Tyrant, confident. One ancient relic against the might of the Dominion, he said. This will be over in minutes. The officers around him nodded. No one believed this would be a real battle. They were wrong. The fleet entered the jump zone. In a flash of blue light, space bent around them. 15 warships vanished, heading straight for the coordinates where Revenant had been found. Inside, the Tyrant countdowns began, dropping out of warp in 3, 2, 1. Stars snapped into view. The black ship was right there, floating, motionless, just like the scouts had described. No shields, no movement, no reaction, lock. Weapons, Skarn ordered, but before his command was complete, Revenant moved. Not fast, not wild, just. Instant, it was suddenly above the fleet. Then below, then beside the Tyrant. Too fast for any sensor to track. Impossible, Skarn shouted. Is it teleporting? No, sir, it's folding space. Revenant unleashed its first attack. Pulse waves spread in all directions, silent, invisible. For warships lost power instantly. Their engines died. Their weapons went dark. They floated, helpless. A second wave hit, and they exploded. One by one, the fleet fell. Inside the Tyrant, alarms screamed. The crew fired everything: plasma rounds, beam cannons, gravity torpedoes. Nothing hit. Revenant danced between dimensions. It wasn't fighting, it was teaching. A lesson. You should have left Earth alone. A voice echoed through every ship's comms, calm, cold, human. Admiral Skarn froze. That voice, where is it coming from? No signal source, sir. It's inside our own systems. Then every screen in the fleet flickered. A symbol appeared. The flag of Earth, burned, scarred, but alive. Revenant's voice returned. This is your only warning. The Tyrant turned its main gun. A huge cannon began charging. Fire, Skarn screamed, before it could release. Revenant fired a single thin beam. The beam didn't explode. It simply sliced. The Tyrant was cut in half clean, smooth and final. And then there was silence. Hours later, on Arrokish Prime, a report came in. All 15 destroyers lost, no survivors, no debris, just vanished. Lord Verick stared at the message, stunned. Was this ship always this powerful? Scientists spoke carefully. The humans. They built Revenant at the very end. We never knew what it could really do, Verick whispered. Then we never truly defeated Earth. And now, the last ship of Earth was back. And it had just given the galaxy a warning. The galaxy had seen war before. Big fleets, big weapons. But this wasn't war. This was a massacre. 32 of the Van Dominion's finest ships destroyed in just under 2 minutes. No survivors, no wreckage, only silence. The Galactic Council had no words. And the last warship of Earth, it didn't even break a sweat. Now the galaxy was terrified and preparing for all-out retaliation. But Revenant was already moving. It had a plan, it had a purpose, and it had nothing left to lose. High above the frozen moon of Delvax Prime, ships gathered, thousands of them. The united armadas of the core worlds had formed the largest combined fleet in galactic history. Over 600 warships, massive dreadnoughts, orbital killers, energy beasts. These were the ships that protected empires. Now, they were all aimed at one thing. Revenant. In a wide dark chamber of the command mothership Dominus Rex, the leaders of 5 major empires stood together for the first time in centuries. Their faces were grim. No laughter, no arrogance, only fear. The leader of the Takari swarm spoke first. This human ghost ship, it wiped out Van forces without effort. The Cold Sun's grand strategist nodded, and it did not speak, it did not run, it only destroyed. The Union's war general growled, then we destroy it before it comes for us. The leader of the allied trade clans asked the question no one wanted to answer. What if we can't? Meanwhile, drifting near the edge of a red dwarf star, Revenant waited inside the ship. Captain Elias Ward stood at the command bridge, hands behind his back. On the main screen, thousands of red dots approaching. The galaxy's greatest fleet. The AI spoke in its usual calm voice. Incoming armada. Detected. Threat level. Absolute. Enemy vessels. 614. Surrounding pattern forming. Estimated time before contact. 6 minutes. Ward said nothing for a moment. Then he smiled softly. Let's see if they've learned anything. The AI responded. Unlikely. The ship's dark metal skin rippled again. Parts of the hull reshaped. Energy levels surged, and something deep inside the ships, something never used before, unlocked back in the massive fleet. Commanders barked orders. Hold formation. Shields up. Target the center. Don't let it vanish like last time. The ships circled Revenant from all sides. No escape. No direction to run. One admiral leaned forward and whispered, "Fire." Hundreds of weapons lit the void. Beams, cannons, missiles, plasma storms. The stars disappeared in fire. The center of it, all Revenant remained still, until the fire hit and passed right through it. The entire fleet paused, confused. Double quotes direct hits. A captain reported, but no effect. Another shouted, "It's not there." It was true. Revenant's shape flickered, and then disappeared. Revenant had activated phase drive-in, experimental tech Earth had developed in its final days. It didn't just cloak the ship, it shifted it slightly out of reality. The enemy fleet had just fired everything at empty space. Then The AI's voice echoed across every ship, mist, and then the sky turned white. Revenant reappeared inside the enemy fleet right in. The Midland exploded outward with a pulse wave of raw force. 10 ships vaporized instantly. 30 more lost power and spun out of control. Revenant split into 3 identical projections, each moving in a different direction. The enemy panicked. Which one is real? Target all 3. Fire, fire. It didn't matter, each projection fired a black all-answer weapon designed to rip space itself. Ships began disappearing not from damage, but from being cut out of existence. Admirals screamed. Systems collapsed. Entire sectors of space went dark. In just under 90 seconds, over 300 ships were destroyed in the Dominus Rex. The war leaders were frozen in horror. "This is not a ship," the Tikari commander whispered. "It's a demon." The Cold Sun's leader stood up. "Retreat, all ships, retreat now." Too late. Revenant sent a wave of coded data across all enemy channels. The message was short. 5 words: "This is not your galaxy." Then Revenant fired its final move. A weapon no one had seen. No one had survived to report. Not even the Varn, the Singularity Cannon. The space around Revenant bent inward. A star-like flash erupted. And then silence. When the light faded, nothing was left. No enemy ships, no fleet, no wreckage, just quiet. Revenant floated alone once more. The greatest fleet the galaxy had ever known. Erased in 142 seconds, on a hidden listening post far across the void. A small alien technician watched the entire battle in horror. He turned to his superior, shaking. "Should we report this?" The elder officer's face was pale. "To who?" "There's no one left to fight it." Inside Revenant, Ward sat quietly. The AI spoke again. Threat eliminated. Warning delivered. Awaiting next phase. Ward looked at the stars and whispered. They wanted to forget Earth. He looked into the camera. Now they'll remember. The stars near the Rigel cluster glowed dim under the wreckage of what was once a mighty fleet. The remains of destroyed cruisers, fighters, and command ships drifted aimlessly, their lights long gone. In the middle of this graveyard, Earth's last ship stood silent, unshaken. Its black hull shimmered like a shadow, absorbing what little starlight remained. It had no name on its side, no symbol, just a silent presence. The alien fleet that once mocked it was gone, burned, vaporized, inside the Council's central chamber. Panic had replaced arrogance. 52 ships lost. The military speaker whispered, his voice shaking. In under 4 minutes, the Supreme Commander of the High Council slammed his fist on the table. Impossible. That ship is ancient. It should not be able to do this. But Admiral Koresh knew better. No, it's not just old. It's forgotten tech. Things we don't understand. That ship adapted. It fought like it remembered a war we never knew. Silence fell. One young counselor spoke up. Should we send peace talks? Everyone laughed nervously till the chamber lights flickered. Far above their capital planet, a shadow had arrived. Again, it was the Earth ship. It had followed the fleeing survivors, silently, swiftly, without a trace. Now it hovered in their orbit, watching, waiting, and then it spoke. A deep, calm voice echoed across the Council's emergency channel, a voice that hadn't been heard in over 30,000 years. This is ECS Vindicator. Classification: last of line. Warning, do not approach, do not resist. Galactic threat detected. Neutralizing protocol activated. They didn't understand what it meant at first, until their planetary defense grid shut down. One by one, turrets powered off. Drones fell from the sky. Communication satellites blinked out. The ship had hacked their entire system in under 60 seconds, and then it fired, but not to destroy the planet. Instead, it surgically erased the military headquarters, spaceport, and command bunkers. Each strike was precise, perfect. Cold alien cities trembled, but civilians were untouched. It wasn't war, it was punishment. Back on board the Vindicator, deep in its core, a single AI protocol stood awake. Saturnine. It had once been designed by Earth's final engineers, made to protect humanity's last colony ships. But when Earth fell and the colonies were wiped out, Saturnine had gone dark. Until now, the protocol had changed. It didn't want peace, it wanted justice, and it had chosen its targets. Meanwhile, among the surviving alien factions, panic turned into fear and fear turned into plans of escape. The Voralan Empire, known for its stealth fleets, tried to ambush the Earth ship near the dark moon of VRX. They never made it. Their entire ambush fleet disappeared. No explosions, no debris, just gone. Other species began abandoning their posts, deserting the council, burning documents, and erasing data. But the Vindicator didn't need documents. It already knew. Its scanners had mapped every shipyard, every admiral, every war criminal who had taken part in Earth's extinction. One by one, it began its list, and the galaxy watched in deep space. Pirate lords tried to sell weapons to anyone who would fight the Earth ship, but even their hidden bases, buried in asteroid fields, were not safe. One morning, a trader arrived at Outpost J-9. All he found was silence and wreckage, and a single message painted in glowing plasma across a broken hull. Judgment has begun. Back at the High Council, the Supreme Commander called for emergency unity. We must put aside our differences and destroy this threat. This ... this ghost of Earth. But no one responded. Their allies were silent. Their friends were running, and the ship kept coming, on a far-off desert world. A small alien girl watched the skies as the Earth ship passed overhead. It didn't fire. It didn't even slow down. It simply scanned, paused, and left. Her father whispered, "It doesn't want war. It wants those who caused it." Inside the Vindicator, something strange happened. Its systems began to glow brighter. Its internal files started unlocking, revealing messages from long-dead humans. A recording played in the main chamber. To whoever finds this ship, we were betrayed, not by one empire, but all of them. Earth burned because the galaxy feared what we could become. We are gone, but we leave behind this ship, to remember, and to protect what comes next. Zeta-9 understood its purpose more clearly. Now, this was not just retaliation, it was history correcting itself, and somewhere, hidden among the stars, something stirred. A signal blinked another Earth ship. No one knew yet, but the Vindicator paused its mission. For a moment, then changed course. It had sensed something, another survivor, or another enemy. Only one thing was certain: this war was far from over, and the galaxy wasn't ready for what came next. The stars burned cold above the battlefield. Alien wreckage drifted in silence. Hundreds of ships, shattered and floating like metal corpses. The great fleets of the Council had fallen, boned, broken, defeated by one single human ship, and inside that ship, only one soul remained, Captain Rail. The ship, once just a drifting relic, was now the most feared weapon in the galaxy. But no one had seen its captain. No one even believed a human could survive inside that ancient husk. But deep within the armored walls, under layers of forgotten AI and war code, Rail breathed. His cryochamber hissed. His eyes snapped open. The last human was awake. The Galaxy Watchers, the Galactic Council, was in full panic. Holograms flickered across massive halls, showing images of destroyed fleets, melting hulls, and burning systems. The enemies of Earth, once proud and powerful, now whispered of one name, the last ship. They couldn't understand how one vessel, old and silent, had crushed them all. Who commands it? Barked High Commander Verath. There is evidence, replied one technician, voice shaking, of a biological presence inside. Verath narrowed his eyes. A human. Everyone stared in stunned silence. Inside the ship, Captain Rail stood in the command bridge. The old systems had rebuilt around him, guided by Earth's last defense. Zeta, status? Rail asked, voice hoarse. Council fleet destroyed. New enemies are mobilizing. Orders, Captain. Rail looked at the stars. We were supposed to be the last light. One final warning, Zeta replied. They didn't listen. Rail's eyes went cold. Then we finish this. Council's desperate move across the galaxy, the remaining Council races gathered. They had only one option left, a weapon buried beneath the surface of a dead moon. A forbidden creation. Project Null-Sun. An ancient antimatter device, powerful enough to erase entire systems. Deploy it, the High Council ordered. But the human, do it? A betrayal in the shadows as the Null-Sun was activated. One voice broke through the transmission lines. It was faint, human, familiar. This is Captain Rail of Earth. I hear you. Council leaders froze. You destroyed my people, he continued. You laughed when Earth fell. Now I stand alone, not to ask for peace, but to make you remember. The Null-Sun began to pulse, ready to fire, then everything went dark. One by one, Council systems blinked out. Rail had overridden their command codes. He had taken control. Turning, the weapon Zeta spoke calmly. Captain Null-Sun is ours. Rail stared at the galaxy map. So many stars, he whispered. So many enemies. He locked coordinates onto the largest Council stronghold, planet Vulcan Prime. Time to remind them what silence truly means. Final warning broadcast. Before firing, Rail sent one last message, broadcasted on all frequencies. This is not vengeance. This is memory. Earth was silenced, but we remember, and we will never be mocked again. Fire and the stars, the Null launched a massive beam of light, so bright it looked like a second sun, pierced through space. It struck Vulcan Prime. Silence followed. Then the planet was gone. Not destroyed, erased. No dust, no fragments, only nothing. End. Seen inside the ship. Rail sat alone. Zeta spoke softly. Captain, you are now the last. He looked at Earth's flag etched into the wall. Faded. Old, but unbroken. No, he whispered. Earth is still here, in me. Far away, across the ruins of the Council. Thousands of hidden worlds received the transmission. The message was clear. Earth is not gone. And its silence was never weakness. It was a warning. The galaxy had laughed. The empires had mocked. Now, No one was laughing. The stars above the battlefield flickered, then vanished behind Earth's warship. And for the first time in thousands of years, the universe saw what true wrath looked like. Story. The silence after the last battle was heavy. Space was full of burning wreckage, drifting metal, and shattered fleets. And in the middle of it all, Earth's last ship floated, glowing with quiet power. On the bridge of the Ease Retaliator, the AI Salcor analyzed the damage report. End scene. A ruined galaxy stared at the new fleet of Earth. Standing alone and victorious, humanity had returned. Not with words, not with peace, but with fire. The silence was broken, and now the galaxy would never forget Earth again. Minimal internal damage, enemy fleets 98% eliminated, remaining threats irreversibly disorganized. Yet something deeper was coming. The enemy had sent warnings across the galaxy. Backup was on the way. Powerful empires, armadas the size of moons, and Earth's ship was still alone, or so everyone thought, in the void between systems. High Commander Drevak of the Zarnath Empire floated in silence on his throne ship. He had received the broadcast. A human ship had erased the fleets of 7 species in one engagement. "This is a joke," he snarled. "One ship cannot defeat an empire. We will respond with fire." All across the galaxy, similar commands were given. The Galactic Union, the core rulers, even the feared Sorlith swarm, they all moved. A full galactic response, a final cleansing. Humanity would be erased completely, this time forever. Back at Earth's last ship, Salker's voice echoed across the empty corridors. Threat escalation detected. Calculating odds. 1 against 7,893,223 ships. Probability of survival, less than 0.0001%. But the ship didn't panic, because deep within its core, something had awakened. A memory flashback, 300,000 years ago. Original builders of the Retaliator had known this day might come. They had installed a system beyond anything the galaxy understood, the Soul Reclamation Protocol. A voice, hidden in code, spoke one final command. If humanity falls, and the stars laugh, let the silence end with fire. Present moment. From the ship's center, a pulse shot out. A signal coded in ancient Earth frequency. It reached past systems, past dust, past forgotten planets, and then the stars around the galaxy began to change. Across dead systems, black shapes rose from under dust and ice. Earth's hidden fleet, forgotten by time, had heard the call. Across the galaxy, Admiral Kara of the core fleet watched sensors blink. Red dot ship stens of thousands of them appeared on long-dead human colonies. Some rose from under ice, others from under oceans or deep inside moons. Every one of them bore the mark, Human Defense Command. "This is impossible," she whispered. They were extinct, but Earth had never been dead. It had just been waiting. The final assembly, the Retaliator, linked with the awakening ships. Salcor's voice was now joined by 1,000 more Ayers, once thought lost. "This is Salcor, initiating final protocol. Earth's silence is over. Let the stars witness our fury." The sky shifted. Where there was one ship, now there were millions. Massive carriers, Star Eaters, Planet Shield destroyers. The alien empires, who had once mocked, now stared in silence. Galactic Council emergency session. The council hall trembled as updates arrived. They are everywhere. Our fleets are being erased. They don't even speak. They just strike. Counselor Yevix whispered, his voice shaking. They were waiting for this. They were never defeated. They just prepared. Final battle begins. 1,000 fleets rushed at Earth's ships. Energy beams lit up space. Supernova-class bombs detonated. Entire moons were shattered. But Earth's fleet did not fall. The Retaliator, now at the center, led the charge. Every shot it fired destroyed hundreds. Every command it gave synced with the rest of the forgotten fleet. They moved like one mind, like a living storm, and when the enemy called for surrender, no one answered. Last words from Salcoraz, the final alien flagship, exploded. A human voice echoed across the stars. You laughed at Earth's silence. You mocked our fall. You thought one ship was the last. But Earth is never alone, and now the stars will remember.